Did you hear that Sony was apparently overworking the artists that were working on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, where some artists even quit? Yeah, that was sad. I did read about that. Um, Hold on. Let me find the big write-up on it. Was it from here? I can't remember. But yeah, that's very sad to hear. It is impressive how common this is. Even for something like Across the Spider-Verse, which everyone championed for, good, like, real artist relations and everything. But apparently that just wasn't the case. There's a Prime Elias in the resub Neon and Neon Realm. Oh, VFX artists get fucked over all the time. The studio that remade Sonic and literally saved the Sonic live action film got shut down because they basically couldn't afford to stay in business anymore. They had a rush order to redesign Sonic. They redesigned Sonic and then had to fold shortly thereafter because they weren't paid enough to keep going even after that work. That's not true. Is that not the reason? That was the timeline, right? Right after they did the Sonic redesign, they had to shut down. Yeah, the Vancouver VFX studio behind the Sonic redesign had to close its doors for good after taking on the project. Unless this was debunked somehow. I remember this when it came out, but maybe that's not the full story? One guide? Well, that's the one guy I trust. He's literally in the industry. That's Andrew. No, they only had to close the Vancouver office because the tax rebates changed. They kept the other offices. That's why? Then why do they always cite about like the extreme hours and the underpaid salary for the workers and all the extra work they do? Or did, sorry. Because that's VFX. I don't think it had anything to do with the office closing. Okay, maybe it's two separate things rolled into one and people assume that that was the reason it had to close. Fair enough then. Point still stands. VFX artists are overworked and underpaid for the work they do. Thanks to resub Weeaboo. You heard about Nick Fury's show using AI in their intro? Yeah. That intro is super goofy too. I saw it on Twitter. I haven't watched the show though. I mean, the fact that a studio's life is entirely based on tax rebates is in itself a major VFX problem. Fair point. That is a good point. It's sad knowing there are animators who are really happy showing off their pieces of work. I can't imagine like everyone who worked on this film was subject to the 11 hours, 5 days a week that some of them were reporting, or 11 plus hours, 7 days a week. So I understand why so many of them would be like, look at this, this was incredible work, loved working here and all that, but maybe others didn't have such a great experience. Which is really sad. What's even sadder is because the movie is so good, there's a lot of people on Twitter that were like, this is the cost of making art. This is the cost of making masterpieces. If you're not willing to do 11, 12, 13-hour work days, 7 days a week, then you're in the wrong industry. You're not here for real art. It's like, brother, what are you talking about, man? Thanks for the resub, G. David. Yeah, I swear every reply was like that. I know. It's a fucking unhinged take. It really is. Japan is worse. Well, yeah, Japan is worse, 100%, but that doesn't mean that this is okay just because it's comparatively less awful than Japan's working conditions for animators. But yeah, Japan's work culture in general, but specifically in animation, is abominable. I've always said if I ever fell into like $1 billion, if I won the Powerball or something, one of the first things I'd do is I'd buy like a ton of the top tier Japanese animator talent and start a studio and just immediately pay them exactly what they're worth, a great wage, real benefits. That way they're not literally killing themselves making the projects. That would be one of the first ventures I'd take on. These are the Bitskov and Anthony. And the Bitskov. Not possible. The Japanese government will stop you. What the fuck, man? No, that's not how that would work. A lot of the animators these studios use are like contractors. A lot of it's freelance as well. Like One Punch Man season one. The reason why it was so special in a lot of ways and why it worked really well actually is because the creative director got like a ton of different talent from all over the place in order to put them together and only work on that season and create something crazy. And then season two, they completely did away with everything there. But they bring all of them together to make that kind of stuff. A lot of the times, it's not all done by like the same staples in house or anything. So I don't know what the Japanese government would do there to stop me if I had $1 billion of being like, hey, come work for this studio I'm opening. Here's like a real salary and real work hours that aren't going to put you in an early grave. Like what are they gonna do? Why would the Japanese government step in? They make it difficult for outsiders to start a business. I think okay, I we're talking pipe dreams. These are pipe dreams. I'd need billions to even consider. I'm just saying to offer that. I feel like most of them would probably want to, and as opposed to actually working themselves to death forever on an endless grind. There's a whole great documentary about it. I can't remember what it's called. But there's a really good documentary that highlights not only the work culture of like Japan in general, but in specific the like manga creators. It's not just animators. It's just like the entire work culture there is crazy. It is actually work, 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 and die during the grind. Exarisa, Marty, and Magikarp. Their wages are peanuts. We looked it up on stream like shit, what, a year ago? Well, I'll look it up again. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and see if I remember the exact number though, so I look like a prophet if I get it right. I believe the starting position for an animator at a major studio was $700 a month USD. I'm gonna double check now. $800. I was super close. Oh, here. Average salary of animators in their 20s. I see it, so it's breaking it down by that. 800. Yeah, like I said, this is like the a young animator new there, right? But even still, that's criminal. It's not uncommon for the monthly salary for a first year animator to be 270. Jesus. Yeah, we talked about that just a minute ago, Kai. Thanks for your sub, Carver, Falcon, and Michael. How is that acceptable? It's fucking not. And if I remember correctly, there are efforts to try and like change and improve the working conditions. So I think they're recognizing that it's a problem as well. I don't remember this. This means that animators' incomes are determined by the number of frames they draw. For a newcomer, it takes time and practice to become skillful enough to draw quicker and make a fair amount of earnings per month. For a typical TV anime series, an animator makes less than $2 per frame. Therefore, if an animator draws 300 frames per month, their monthly salary is only $550. But drawing 300 frames per month is a really challenging task for new animators. With such a busy schedule, animators generally do not have enough time to take other part-time jobs, which makes it even harder to make a stable living. That's crazy. Holy shit, getting paid per frame? I don't remember that. That's like paying writers by word? No, because being paid per word, like, you can make words much faster than you can make entire fucking anime frames. You can make significantly more words than you can frames. And especially at a top tier animation company, those frames are going to need to be good. You can't just turn in dog shit.